okay? The West is not like us. You know, I'll invite you to my house and there's no business we're discussing. We just want to, you know, have some tea, right? By the time the United States gives you a state visit, trust you me, they have interests. So let's count the interests.
Okay.
Interest number one is to make sure they establish influence in Africa away from China. Okay? There is a diplomatic Cold War between the United States and China. The US is keen to start developing in Africa again. It is keen to compete with Chinese businesses in Africa again. It is keen to access African markets. So number one, it is the fact that Kenya, through President Ruto, much less Uhuru, has now looked west. And clearly his diplomatic efforts are heading somewhere in the United States because he's a president who's been in power for hardly 2 years. And he's been able to be given that. So he's definitely giving the United States a window into Africa. That's number one.
All right.
Number two is the United States security interests in Africa. If you were to think about it, the only truly democratic countries, truly democratic, in Eastern Africa are Tanzania and Kenya. Everything else has its own issues. So what Kenya is for the United States is that it is an opportunity for democracy and peace. Tanzania is a bit closed off, right, as a country. But Kenya is willing to send troops to Somalia, Yugoslavia, Sierra Leone, to Congo,
to Bosnia, earlier in the 90s.
You know. So Kenya is a security asset, and that is why it's been given access to military training, equipment, and to be fast-tracked when they need to buy state-of-the-art equipment and to be given military aid. So that already is a big deal. Then you've got to ask yourself the question. Africa is the largest untapped market in the world. It has about 2 billion people who are hungry for technology, hungry
There's
for
an
food,
appetite.
hungry for education, hungry for healthcare.
Even the culture.
Yes. So Africa, if you look at it, you've got to ask yourself, how do you access Africa? If you want to access Southern Africa, you do South Africa. You want to access Western Africa, you do Nigeria, right? You want to access Eastern Africa, where do you go? Kenya. So there is an interest in the Kenya's space, both as a leader in the East African community, but also, remember, Africa is implementing the Africa Free Trade Agreement. This is very important. So if you're looking at Africa and you're sitting in the States or in Europe, you're thinking, how do I begin to tap into the visions, dreams, and aspirations for Africans that Africans are planning for themselves? Now, this must come with a caveat. It must be Africa first. As far as Africans are concerned, we should go there with the Kenya first mentality. Because as they give us dinner, believe you me, it is also America first.
And I like that. I like that. Here's a question. Now there's a whole raft of questions here. First of all, I want you to talk to us about that that pronouncement about the non-NATO ally.
Yes.
You know, first of all, you have touched on it in terms of what benefits exist for the United States and what benefits exist for Kenya.
Yeah.
But listen, the world is watching. African countries are watching.